Hey everyone, I'm back for another video, and this is Cam315 back at it with another Chicago Bears game recap. And tonight, our Chicago Bears took on the New York Giants in week 2 of the preseason. We ended up losing this game 32 to 13. It was not a particularly, I would say, interesting game to watch. I know from the standpoint, once the moment the game got out of hand, I kind of, you know, I focused on the game a bit, but I really didn't focus. Heck, I think nearly at the start of the fourth quarter, I actually went out to go get me some dinner, and I'm just making this quick video right now. It's probably gonna be like 10 minutes or less. I'm not gonna make it as long as last week's, but I'm gonna try to keep this video short so I can eat my dinner. But yeah, from a standpoint of production standpoint, of seeing if there's any progression, this was a okay game from a progression standpoint, in my opinion. Um, I think the team could have done a lot better, and I know our second stringers went up against the Giants' first stringers for some time, but man, for some of the time during the game, if you're a Bears fan, I don't know, it was painful just to see the backups, come in, not really do anything. Chase, I'm not really gonna give stats tonight. But I'm just gonna go through overall what I saw and some things that I did not like. From the standpoint of Chase Daniels, he's okay, but he's not looking like a pretty good backup QB. But like we said, and I'm gonna get into the future things in this video of how hopefully our team stays healthy. Because if there was one thing I can say about this entire game as a whole is, man, I want to see how the starters really do, and I'm hoping we at least get to see the starters play preseason week 3. Now Nagy says he sees no interest in playing the starters because things can happen like injuries and stuff. But I would like to see, some of the newer guys we've signed, like a HaHa Clinton Dix, a Buster Skrine, at least get some reps on the defense. Or, maybe preseason week 3, if you don't want the offense out that long, then, give one series to each of the opposing, sides of the ball. I would really like to see how the offense is looking in a live game situation, and the defense as well. I know, like, they're fearing injury, and stuff can be interpreted bad, but I just feel like playing a pretty decent team in the Packers, I'd rather see this team at least have at least a few reps of in-game experience before stuff like that, like seeing the field and stuff like that. Another bright spot we got to see tonight was Riley Ridley. I thought he did decent. He really didn't. There was some chance where they tried to give him the ball, but I know one pass Chase Daniels I think overthrew him, and then another pass Chase Daniels completely missed. Riley Ridley going across the seam, and he was basically wide open, but he passed it to Javon Wims. That's another positive. Javon Wims had a really good game today. Like I said in my last week, I would like to see Javon Wims getting more opportunities to catch the ball, and we saw that tonight. I think he had like 5 catches tonight. Like I said, I'm not looking at the stat sheets and stuff like that. It was really good. It was really good. Another bright spot for this game is, even though the defense didn't really play as well as they should have because they're mostly backup defenders, get into that when it comes to the backups issue. I gotta say, despite how okay the defense played, the takeaways, spot on. I love the takeaways. I like the aspect that this defense still takes the ball away from you. We forced, like, I think 4 fumbles and recovered 3 of the 4, which was crazy. And then Duck, I think his name is Clinton Duck. Clinton Duck. He got a pick at the goal line, and that was good to see. Now I thought he should have taken into the end zone. That should have been a pick six. If he ran a little faster, he might have actually got a pick six. But I digress. We got 5 takeaways in this game. So that's good to see that even the backup defense is still getting those takeaways, which means when the freaking first team D comes in, oh my goodness, that could be a team's worst nightmare if we're getting 5 takeaways in the game. Yeah. But usually if this was a live game experience, usually we have 5 takeaways, at least 5 takeaways. There's no way you lose that game. But yeah. So basically, I did some notes from things I analyzed watching the game a bit. I'm gonna get to the kicking thing first. The kicking was completely the exact opposite of last week. One kicker goes 2 for 2, and another kicker goes 1 for 2. But this time, it's flipped roles. Eddie Pinheiro is the one that went 2 for 2. Elliott Fry is the one that went 1 for 2. Now, looking at the race, I say right now it's a definitive tie. Elliott Fry literally had the lead by a short grasp. He could have expanded his lead tonight if he had made more kicks. If he had made, especially the first kick, because I think the first kick was a 47-yarder field goal. That would have been impressive if he had made that. But he missed that, and he made the extra point. So basically the opposite of what happened last week. So right now, I got them 50-50. They're tied at this moment now. They're tied. What I got to say is I'm getting a little shaky because one week we had one kicker miss one 40-yard field goal. Another kicker, made both their kicks. And tonight, the opposite kicker, Elliott Fry, missed a 47-yarder, but made the extra point. As a Bears fan, I would be a little concerned. If it's looking like your kickers is going to miss at least one kick a game, and it could be a really key kick, that's not looking too good. Right now, I have them 50-50 apiece. Because, they basically, from the 2 weeks of preseason, evened each other out. I'm a little concerned from the standpoint that these guys are missing and then they make, but miss and then make. I cannot have that. We need consistency coming to our kicking game. So it's a little iffy right now with the kicking, and it's not looking good. Right now, they're tied. So it looks like it's going to come down to a very, very close race in the next 2 weeks, and including practice as well. So hopefully Eddie Pinheiro, Elliott Fry can start making more kicks, and hopefully we can have both kickers in maybe next week's preseason game go both for 2 for 2 and show off their skills. Because Elliott Fry knocked himself down a peg when he missed that kick. But when Eddie Pinheiro made his 2 kicks tonight, he kind of really evened up the score, and he's now fighting back. And that's what I said Eddie Pinheiro needs to do from last week's recap video, that he needs to rebound and make his kicks next week. Now, both these kickers need to do the same thing. Go out there and make their kicks. The one that misses the more kicks, you're going to be losing the race. The one that makes the more kicks, you're going to be winning it. And that's only one more... that's one more step closer to getting that, guaranteed roster spot and that guaranteed job for, full-time kicker. I gotta say, our defense, other than the takeaways, I thought played, decent. I wouldn't say all that good. Because, one, they really did not get next to no pressure on any of the Giants. Well, really, Eli and Daniel Jones for a few times. That's something that kind of questions me a bit from the standpoint of the backups. And I'm going to get into this. Another note, on the first drive, Duke Shelley made a pretty poor tackle, in my opinion, and it went for a touchdown, which was the first part of the game. I did not like the tackle. He had him, but he just made a pretty poor tackle. Marvin Hall, I believe his name, when he was fielding the punt. I know there was one punt he fielded. He had an 11-yard loss off a punt when there really was nowhere to go. And my dad was sitting next to me, and I was like, we were both like, why did he not fair catch the ball? That's probably just a rookie mistake. Chris Tablat, you might need to talk to him or any of the other special team the returning special teams coach. You might need to talk to him and be like, look, if there's defenders around you, just call a fair catch. Don't try to make something out of nothing and then end up getting an 11-yard loss, because that put us on the goal line, and that's in a regular season game. That's bad if he makes the roster. I don't know. The special teams so far, from what it's looking like, it seems to be our weakest link of the team. Now I'm starting to hold Chris Tablat, our special teams coach, to a higher regard right now, because I think he didn't really do a good job last year, and it's looking like he's not doing a really good job this year. If he doesn't do a good job this upcoming season, or after this season, I would have to see the Bears investing in getting another special teams coach. Because it started off a little bit at the beginning of the game, and my dad even pointed this out, and I was telling my dad the same thing happened last week. On the punt returns, on the punt kickoffs, we just don't have guys running to the ball or getting to the ball carrier. One of the Giants returners muffed a punt, and there was nobody in the vicinity, and the Giants dude literally just did a full turnaround to try to find the ball. And, there was no guys for our Bears in the vicinity. They were a good 15 to 20 feet away from him. And I'm not liking that. I said last week, an improvement I would like to see is, the contain and the rush to get to the ball carrier on a punt kickoff and a kickoff routine. I want to see that more. And the same thing kind of happened this game a little bit. The players weren't getting to the ball carrier on a punt or kickoff return for the Giants, and they got good yardage out of it. They even picked up a muff punt, and you got to get on those. So hopefully, like I said, it gets fixed by the following week. I know it's not the main guys who are on typical punt team and stuff like that, but as a backups, you gotta if you can't find yourself on a roll on the offense or defense, special teams is there. And if you can't make an impact on special teams, I'm sorry, you're probably not going to make the team. So I advise them to work more on the punt and the kickoff teams and get to the ball carrier and make tackles. On some of them, they miss tackles, and that's another issue. Missed tackles this game were pretty bad. You do not like to see missed tackles, because there were sometimes we had the Giants for a loss of yardage. They get out of the tackles. I will say one thing I also did like too is I saw Karif White's return for a touchdown. Sadly, that was taken back because of a holding of John Franklin III. And I'm gonna get to him real quick. I don't think he had a really good game, in my opinion. He kind of got burnt a few times. He wasn't locating the football really well. I don't know. I think he played really decently and really good last week, but this week he didn't really play that good. He got burnt on 2 occasions, one for a touchdown and one was just a simple fade route, and he really got badly burnt. And then, the penalty on kickoff, he was caught holding. And I'm like, come on. You just took a touchdown away from a really good guy, from a dude who just returned a kickoff for a touchdown. And that definitely can't happen going to the regular season game. Bradley Soul, I thought he played pretty poorly as well. Our tight end position, and I don't think we threw to the tight ends at all. Our tight end position is fairly weak from the standpoint of we've only have one, tight end, and that's really Trey Burton. And Trey Burton, I was looking on Twitter, and there was a tweet from this Bears Twitter page guy, and he was like, our tight end spot isn't looking good. Because when we needed Trey Burton the most, which was the Eagles playoff game, he went MIA and went soft on us because he had some issue like a day before the game even happened. And I was like, come on. And then we went to Adam Shaheen. And, Adam Shaheen, he's always quoted by Bears fans saying he's a baby Gronk. He ain't looking like baby Gronk. He's looking like Gronk from the standpoint of he's get hurts all the time. But to me, looking at Adam Shaheen, he's not a physical guy, and he looks like he doesn't want to incite contact. So our tight end spot needs to be better. Bradley Soul needs to play better. There was 2 occasions. He had a terrible offsides penalty, or a false start penalty, where before the ball was even hiked, he was already moving. And then he let Chase Daniels get sacked, and he had a very bad, poor block. He basically just blocked the guy and let the dude go past him. And I was like, you can't have that happen to you. If Bradley Soul's supposed to be like, a tight end type of dude for us, he needs to start blocking better, and I need to see him more in the passing game, more importantly. We haven't had a decent tight end really since Greg Olsen, to be honest. Our really good tight end since Greg Olsen. If you want to be really, decent, we're talking like Martellus Bennett and I guess to an extent what's his name? I just said it. I just had his name in my head. Martellus Bennett and Well, that's besides the point. I forgot the other tight end who was pretty good, pretty decent for us. I forgot. Oh, Zach Miller. Zach Miller before he had his tragic knee injury. Yeah. And then the last thing I put in my notes was the backup O-line was getting no push in this game whatsoever. I just got to say this, and this is going to lead into the backups. The backups, if you're going to try to earn a roster spot as a backup, you need to play a lot better than you played today, especially the backup O-line. The backup O-line had little to no push for 3 quarters, or probably the entire game. We had the ball in offense. And, we had no push. The backup O-line, I think the backup O-line play, I think in my opinion, was pretty atrocious. It could have been a lot better. They just got no push whatsoever. The moment the ball was snapped, the Giants' D-line was already getting to the backfield and tackling our running backs for loss or getting sacks on our quarterbacks. So it's concerning from the standpoint of now, after looking at this game, we have to pray that nobody gets in, any of our key players don't get hurt, because then we'll be in some major trouble, and major trouble. And I'm especially looking at that O-line. If the backup O-line dudes try to fill in for somebody on the starting O-line that's not blocking because they're hurt, and they're gonna be the weak link, yeah. So for the offensive line coach, I think you need to get those guys, better, because man, they got mollywopped this game. Because every time I looked, the Giants' D-line was putting pressure and getting there. I hadn't seen no time and stuff like that. The quarterbacks had no time to throw. The running backs were were nowhere to be, there, because they were just getting shut down. And really, that's all I got to say about this preseason game. It was a pretty poorly played game. I think the team just needs to do better the following preseason game from the backup standpoint of view. Now, for preseason week 3, I don't know if the starters are going to play. It's looking like, from everything I've heard, Nagy has no intentions of playing Trubisky or anybody else. In my opinion, I would just like to see the offense and defense side of the ball at least get 1 rep each. You don't have to put them out there. Just give them 1 rep each. I would like to see, what they can do. And hopefully they do get playing time. But if they don't, I'm probably not going to be so convinced that they're going to be playing week 4 of the preseason. And they're just going to go play their first live games week 1. So I would like to see the starting O and starting D at least get 1 series in for this preseason, because I want to see what they have to offer. Otherwise we're just going to be watching guys who are trying to make the roster, and I'm cool with that. I just want to see from the standpoint, how does our starting O and our starting D just look from a standpoint, that's what I just got to say. But other than that, that's really it that I got to say about the Bears. Like I said, I wanted to keep this short because I wanted to eat my dinner too that I just got. There's really, other than a few little things. Oh, yes. I forgot to say. I got to go check out how many penalties we had, because I think we were yet again bad with the penalties. And I said from last week, penalties is a huge issue from last week, and we need to keep the penalties low. I'm going to find out how many penalties we had. And there was a few bad penalties we had. Like I said, on the kickoff return, that was, pretty bad from the standpoint of, it was pretty bad from the standpoint of we looked like we were going to get a kickoff return for a touchdown, but that doesn't happen. Yeah. Oh, yes, we had 2 turnovers in this game. I know Taquan Mazzell, he fumbled the ball, so guess what? I wasn't really a big fan of Taquan Mazzell. I'm no hate on the guy, and no disrespect to him. He has skill, but he's just a practice squad player in the NFL for me. He has no business being on this roster, if you ask me, in my opinion. Yeah. I'm trying to find, Okay, here we go. Penalties. No, that's not penalties. Okay, here we go. Penalties. So, like I said from last week, I would like the penalties to be low and kept to a minimum, like, 5 or less. Particularly, I'd rather have 4 or less. But again, we go over the limit of 5 and almost getting 10 penalties again. We had 8 penalties for a total of 66 yards. That is a lot of yardage that came off penalties. And again, I do need to stress again, the penalties need to be kept low to a minimum. 5 or less, I think, is fine. If you exceed 5 or more, even 10 penalties, that's not looking too good. Hopefully week 3 of the preseason, they keep the penalties low. There was too many holding calls again. A false start, Yeah, it's just, the holding issue again. Morally, the big penalties we got were holding. It's stuff like that. And I think we had a pass interference call, 2 of them, I think, and, they're questionable from what I saw, but it's whatever. You know, but other than that, that's really all I gotta say for this week of, Chicago Bears football. So next week I will be doing preseason week 3, and yeah, that will be it for this video. So if you like this video, leave a like. If there's any things that you want to say in the comment section that you feel like I missed, put that in the comment section, and hit the subscribe button as well. It'd be much appreciated if you want more Chicago Bears content and stuff like that. So till then, guys, this is Camfrey15, and I'm signing out. Catch you guys later.